Some more exciting news is circulating for the women's division, so we'll see what's being said there. We'll also check out what's up with Jacob and some more connected things there. Starting things off with some exciting news for the women's division, specifically more on the Smackdown side of things. We recently discussed the news that the company is allegedly moving away from the yearly draft event and will be instead shifting over to a trade system for whenever they want to freshen up rosters. And everyone is in agreement that the first area that should be targeting with this new trade system is the Smackdown women's division. Jade Cargill is 2 months deep into her title reign without having one actual real feud for the title. And that's not Jade's fault. There's just literally no one on that roster to face that's a credible threat to the title right now. SmackDown is waiting for Tiffany Stratton and Bianca Belair to return. That's the two credible challengers that are technically on the SmackDown roster. But the issue is that they're obviously both inactive right now, so can't really count on them until they're physically back. But according to reports, more depth does appear to be on the way for the SmackDown women's division. Not only will Bianca and Tiffany return hopefully sometime in early 2026, but it's been teased on television and across many interviews that Charlotte Flair will be returning to singles action in 2026. Everyone loves the tag team that Alexa and Charlotte have going on right now, but obviously once it's ran its course, everyone expects a split to happen there. And it looks like Charlotte will be returning to singles action once the split does take place. They teased a Charlotte versus Jade Cargill feud the week after Jade first won the title, and Charlotte did recently note in an interview that she's hoping to end the world title drought that she's currently in the middle of. Charlotte has not held a singles world title since long before her knee injury in late 2023. So it's been a couple of years since Charlotte last held the gold, and she of course wants to inch closer to tying her father's amount of world titles, and maybe even eventually surpass John Cena's 17 world titles. So that's still always going to be a goal for Charlotte, especially once we really see her return to the singles division. But that's not the only help that's on the way for SmackDown. According to new reports, Rhea Ripley will allegedly be traded over to SmackDown in early 2026 as well. That is absolutely major news, and would be a fantastic trade for them. That's the type of star power that the SmackDown women's division is lacking at the current moment. You got Jade Cargill on top as champion, but no other top contender is on that brand right now. But if you put Rhea Ripley on SmackDown, that's an absolutely game-changing move. Rhea would instantly have to be considered the #1 contender for the women's title, because no one can really contest her for that. If she goes to SmackDown, especially right now where all these top stars are still inactive, Rhea Ripley would be right there towards the top of the card and coming after Jade Cargill. And that could be the exciting and thrilling first real feud of Jade Cargill's title reign. Rhea and Jade have definitely called each other out on multiple interviews as being dream opponents for each other. And if it's true that Rhea Ripley is headed to SmackDown soon, that makes this dream matchup seem even more possible and closer than ever to happening. It does seem like moving Rhea Ripley away from Raw is the right call to make, because she's been a Raw superstar for a handful of years now. She's done everything there is to do there for the most part, so giving her a fresh start on SmackDown, especially when SmackDown really needs some more star power, does sound like the right move to make after all. So things are still rough for the SmackDown women's division, but it looks like there is light at the end of the tunnel if all these rumored trades do take place after all. A very small moment happened on SmackDown that was brief and barely a few seconds long, but it's still worth talking about because it could be leading to something major in the Jacob attacker situation. So when Jacob was first attacked several months ago, one of the main things everyone noticed was that it sure did seem like they planted a witness there in that scene. And that witness was Kit Wilson. If you go back to the scene of Jacob's attack, Jacob is surrounded by referees and other backstage personnel, but over in the corner there is one superstar who's standing there in shock, and that was Kit Wilson. Now when this moment initially happened, everyone gravitated towards Kit Wilson and a lot of different theories there. Did Kit Wilson just so happen to arrive at the scene at the same time everyone else did? Or was he there a bit earlier and actually witnessed the entire attack? That's the biggest question there that has not been answered at all. Judging by the first shot we saw of Kit Wilson during the attack segment itself, Kit Wilson seems shocked. He seems like he can't believe whatever he saw, and his expressions there in the background is what made fans feel like he saw the whole attack, potentially even with the identity of the attacker included. The weird thing though is that Kit Wilson hasn't spoken up. He hasn't said a single word about potentially witnessing anything for these last few months here. So since there was no progression there to Kit Wilson teasing what he saw, we kind of stopped covering the Kit Wilson witness narrative. But a recent moment on SmackDown has brought new life to the Kit Wilson witness angle. And that's the fact that during a recent backstage segment, Kit Wilson could be seen near Nick Aldis' office. And that's it for when it comes to actual context. We have no actual idea why Kit Wilson was near the office. No idea what he wanted to actually talk to Nick Aldis about, but some fans wonder and are theorizing if Kit's conversation with Nick Aldis could be in regards to whatever he saw the night of Jacob's attack. Was Kit Wilson a bit traumatized by what he saw all those months ago, and it has taken him this long to really open up about it and want to speak about it? It's possible maybe if he really knows who did the attack, he wanted to just keep quiet and protect himself just in case. Because imagine if Kit Wilson did see someone like Cody Rhodes take out Jacob backstage that night. That's a pretty tough situation to be in because Cody Rhodes is the ultimate hero. He's the face of the company, the current undisputed champion. So Kit Wilson probably thought there was no point in saying anything because no one was going to believe him, and maybe Cody would even quietly come after him as well for being the witness and having the intel that could really hurt his image right now. But if it was someone like Cody Rhodes, then why now? Why is Kit Wilson deciding to speak all these months later? Maybe Kit Wilson heard Cody's recent promo about being the law, and maybe he felt like Cody was getting more and more out of control. Because even in that promo, Nick Aldis was a bit shocked and didn't know where all this new behavior from Cody Rhodes was coming from. So maybe Kit Wilson saw all that and decided that maybe if he reveals what he saw now to Nick Aldis, maybe there's a higher chance people will believe him, considering how Cody Rhodes has been acting lately. Maybe before all this really blows up, Kit Wilson wants to blow the whistle on what he saw the night of Jacob's attack and warn people that Cody was behind it. We know that Kit Wilson had to see something that night of the attack, but he hasn't said a word on what he saw that night. But the fact that Kit Wilson is now hanging around Nick Aldis' office, it does make you really wonder if Kit Wilson could be making his witness statement off-screen to Nick Aldis. We know for sure Kit Wilson has some type of intel about what happened that night, but everyone is waiting for Kit Wilson to drop it and reveal it. Hopefully the witness statement is what's happening right now with Kit Wilson, because the Jacob attacker storyline has been very dry for months. So if that's what's happening here, it would give some new life to the Jacob angle until he actually returns himself. Jacob is allegedly very close to returning, according to reports, so hopefully that means big progression to the attack storylines isn't that far behind either. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.